but I do want to tell you that my opinion on Die Hard being a Christmas movie is that hello, Peter Chao here. Merry Christmas Eve or Merry Christmas wherever you're from. I know that I have cousins in Australia that have already celebrated Christmas. I have friends in America that haven't celebrated Christmas yet. So wherever you are, and if you celebrate it, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you and your closest ones and your family. Today I wanted to go over the top 5 movies that I watch every Christmas. Now, I don't deem myself a movie critic or someone who really knows a lot about movies. I'm just a casual guy with a love for movies and films. I went to film school in 2007. I've made short films of my own, and as you can see, I'm a big fan of Pulp Fiction, Scarface, and a shelf of Blu-rays in the background. And over the past, I would say 8 to 10 years, I've watched the same cycle of Christmas movies every holiday season to prep myself for Christmas. I know it's a highly debated topic, but I do want to tell you that my opinion on Die Hard being a Christmas movie is that it is unequivocally a Christmas movie. The reason being is because Die Hard occurs. The events of Die Hard happens on Christmas Eve, 1988. Yes, the things that happen in the movie are not wholeheartedly Christmas related, but it happens on Christmas Eve at a Christmas party, and John McClane saves the day. So, as an honorable mention, even though it doesn't make the top 5 Christmas movies that I watch on Christmas Eve or on Christmas, it is one of those movies that I watch on December 1st to the 5th. It really kicks off December in a big way. I watch it every year. There are a lot of movies that I do not watch every year. It doesn't make my cycle. Die Hard is one of them because, to me, it's a Christmas movie. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit that if it wasn't a Christmas movie, to me, I wouldn't watch it every year. It's not one of those movies that I would watch every year. I haven't watched Die Hard, Die Harder, the sequel to Die Hard, in years. I haven't watched Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is a summer movie, in years. Even though it is also of a heavy debate that Die Hard with a Vengeance is actually the best Die Hard of the entire series. In my opinion, Die Hard 1 is the best because it's got the Christmas feels, it's got perfect action, it's got Bruce Willis at his moonlighting finest, and it has the great and powerful Alan Rickman. It's one of those Christmas movies that I will always cherish as a Christmas movie and a kickoff to the holiday season. Here are my top 5 movies that I watch every holiday season, and a few ideas for you to watch either on Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day as you hunker down with your family. At number 5, It's a Wonderful Life. The black and white magnum opus starring James Stewart is one of the most long and enduring Christmas movies ever made. It's included as a reference in almost every Christmas movie ever made. It is the stuff of legend. It's very heartwarming. It gets you into the Christmas mood. 3/4 of the entire movie is actually incredibly depressing, especially if you're going to watch it during the pandemic. A lot of people this year experienced a significant amount of financial crisis, so perhaps they don't want to be reminded of that, but that movie, the way it ends, the arc, James Stewart's wonderful performance, just the black and whiteness of there's something about black and white movies, there's something about old movies that really get me into a very comfy mood. At number 4, Elf. This is arguably Will Ferrell at his absolute finest. Elf to me is sometimes one of those movies that I find myself just in complete awe of because this was a Jon Favreau prior to Iron Man. The godfather of all Marvel movies directed Elf. If you haven't seen it, I really recommend an amazing documentary. It's available on Netflix. It's called something like The Holiday Movies That Made Us. And the most recent season goes into the filmmaking aspect of how Elf was made. It had a first-time writer, 2 first-time producers. Will Ferrell was right on the cusp of superstardom. I never knew that I needed to watch an Elf documentary until I watched this documentary. It's hilarious. It's heartwarming. It has James Caan in the best James Caan performance that I've seen since The Godfather. And it's also Will Ferrell at his comedic best as well. Over time, the Will Ferrell shtick of being an absolute dimwit in most of his movies really started to wear on me a little bit. So if Elf never made your list for holiday movies to watch, I would really consider adding Elf to that. Also, Zooey Deschanel, just incredible. It's weird to think that so many people are so in love with these Hallmark movies and these Netflix movies that are holiday themed and Christmas themed, because I really genuinely think that most of them are incredibly bad movies. And I hope that people who know anything about Christmas and anything about the holiday season know that there are better movies to watch out there, which is the reason why I'm compiling this list in the first place. I don't want people to watch these Netflix and Hallmark movies. The reason being is because I don't want them to make any more. At number 3, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. The sequel to the smash hit Home Alone is very, very good. It's one of those movies that I watch alongside the first one because it's almost just a complete continuation of the first film. And even though it's a carbon copy of the first Home Alone, I really feel that Macaulay Culkin's charm and cuteness really does make the movie. So even though it is a carbon copy of the first one, it still has its own moments that I feel, especially if you watch it as a continuation from the first one, and I usually watch the first and second back to back every holiday season, it's an adventure, and I love the movie. At number 2 is a movie that I'm shocked that when I bring it up to most people, it's not a part of their cycle. Christmas Vacation, starring Chevy Chase, is the only vacation movie that I watch every single year. It's hilariously offbeat. Chevy Chase is at his Chevy Chase best, and the whole film has this warm feel to it that is not present within a ton of holiday movies. It not only has the importance of family togetherness, but it's also shockingly about corporate greed. The way that giant corporations and giant companies see the people who work for them. And you'll realize that I'm not going super in depth as to why these movies are making my list, but they are incredible movies, and if they're not a part of your cycle, they need to be. At number 1, Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone. This is the movie that essentially ruined Macaulay Culkin's career, but also subsequently made it. It made him a childhood icon. This is the ultimate Christmas movie. It's hilarious. It has childhood wonder. The reason why this is such a nostalgic piece is because every child who has ever watched Home Alone and dreamed of being bad and dreamed of the scenario in which they wouldn't be supervised by their parents all lived out on the screen in this movie. There is nothing to say about Home Alone that hasn't really already been said already. It is the perfect family film, and it is at number 1 on my all-time top 5 movies to watch during Christmas. I hope you guys enjoyed my list. Again, I'm not a film critic. I'm just doing this for fun, really putting out my list out there so that anybody who is used to watching the Netflixes or the Hallmarks know that there are much better movies out there that encompass Christmas as a holiday better than any of those shitty movies do. And that you don't have to watch Christmas in California on Netflix, or Cross Country Christmas, or any of the other steaming hot piles of trash that those companies make. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy a very Merry Christmas to you, yours, and your family. And until next time, stop drinking the haterade and start drinking the bubble tea. Ciao outside.